GunninGamerz here. Driver log number 3 for American Truck Simulator. I know we haven't heard that in quite a while, June to be exact. Here we are already in November and I'm just getting back into the driver's seat. And I never expected it to be so long before we did another video. Of course, we've had several runs over on our Twitch channel, but we have had quite a break for the last couple of months on not only American trucking, but just trucking in general, as we've been getting into air hauler with FSX. And of course, we've had a lot of activity going on with our farming simulator. This is a great reason to come back. They have just released the Pete 389, and a lot of people have been waiting for this truck. So the biggest reason why I haven't been in trucking is because, like many of you already know, they are rescaling the map, and like many of you, I've been waiting for that to come out so that we can jump back hard into trucking, because I didn't want to get myself burned out on the current map, the small map that we have. They're adding like 75% more roads and things like that. But it's certainly nice to get a new truck, and you can see this beauty right here. Now, the first thing I noticed is it looked a little bit smaller when you compare it to the W900. Granted, this is a different cab, but if you just look at the frame and even like how tall from the ground to the top of the hood there or bonnet, look at that difference. It's kind of neat. And you know what? I actually am not complaining. I like having a little bit smaller truck. I haven't driven this one at all yet, but what we're going to do today is we're going to dress one up, and then we're going to take it out for a little rip and see how it does. We'll jump over to the cabin. You can go with the day cab, the low roof sleeper, or the ultra cab sleeper, which all three look mighty nice. And I've got one already picked out that I'm going to do. I've got a whole design picked out. I just seen this truck and I thought, you know, I know a perfect idea for it. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. But let's look at the frames. We have a couple of different frame choices like the other trucks. You've got the 6x4 chassis that go from 150 gallon all the way up to 300 gallon. And of course, that's going to definitely affect the size of your truck and things like that as far as length goes. Now if we jump forward to the engine, you can go from a 370 horse up to the 550, which is a Cummins. It looks like a mighty nice way to go. So again, you're a little bit down on the horsepower and torque side of things compared to the W900, but with your transmissions, you've got all the same options pretty well, and of course we'd be going with an 18 speed in our truck. And you've got two different style of interior, it looks like. There's the Premium Ride and the Ultra Ride. Both of them I like a whole heck of a lot. They do change those seat colors there, and I'm really not thinking I like that brighter interior 100%. Kind of a big fan of the black. We'll have to see when we get all finished up what we end up going with. And the different colors, of course, you can do the same thing as the other trucks. I think these are some of the specifics as far as paint job. This, I can see some people coming up with some really neat designs. You've got this one here, which, again, I think you could really come up with some neat color schemes. The flames, I think, is also specific to this one. Of course, there's flames on the other trucks, but this one looks really awesome. I mean, look at what they do with the tank down there if you keep that painted. I'd really, really like that look right there. And of course, obviously, I could see some people doing some color changes on the flames there. It doesn't look like you can change. Okay, so right here is where you can change the other stuff as well. So if you wanted to, you know, mess around with that, come up with some really wild ideas while that's bright. So there's the pinstripe one for whoever wants to have a bunch of pinstriping on their vehicle. And then, well, you know what? Let's look at these real quick. These are the Halloween ones that we have not got to run yet. And I have to say, that is really a nice color red. Look at that. Got some skulls on the hood. And I think this is going to look kind of the same on the other trucks as well. Wings of Freedom. I think this one should be specific to this truck. I really like the color. And it looks like, again, you can go wild with the different colors that you have for that one. All Hallows Eve, again, it's part of the Halloween pack, but I'm going to show it anyway because we never got to run it for Halloween. But look at that scary pumpkin on the front. Cougar, I believe, is also part of the Pete 389, so there it is if we haven't seen that one before. And we've got a Hell Rider. This is again part of the Halloween pack, not 389, but we're showing her straight out of hell. I like that one. That's kind of one of my favorite ones for Halloween. You could run this thing all year round. That's what I like about that one. So jumping down, this is the old Western look here, the rodeo. If you're into the cowboy sort of thing, and looks like you got a cowgirl on the one side, and then you've got cowboy on the other. So a nice little mural there. The takeoff, the military one that they did, is a shout out to the Navy, it looks like. So that's a really pretty one. Can't change the colors on it or anything like that, but definitely stands out with all that orange. And I think if this truck was dressed up with some chrome, it would look pretty nice. But that is a good looking paint job right there. Cityscape. Now, I'm a little bit embarrassed on this one. I had a peek at this one earlier, and to be honest with you, I could not tell what city that was, and I'm feeling like I should know, but it looks like it's from yesteryear, but really does look nice on this truck with that chrome. And then we got Wave. Wave is, well, I guess California. If you're a California trucker, if you're really into the California trucking thing, which is obviously a big part of American trucking right now, this would be a pretty nice looking skin on that truck. Okay, now we're gonna cruise through this, and I might miss some things, so if I do, please forgive me. We're not gonna be able to like see 100% of everything, but you can see the different bumper designs here. You've got two different grill style. That almost makes her look like the 379, the older style with those lights. I kind of like that. There is a way to get some pretty massive big bumpers on this bad boy. Yeah, if you go to that one right there. So is it just that bumper? Oh, it looks like you can do it on the top couple here. You could throw on a couple of these bull bars if you really wanted to push some snow. It looks like you got a plow on the front. I'm going to jump back to a solid color just so we're not so distracted by all of these, the crazy paint here. So you've got a couple of different mirror options there. Basically looks like chrome and paint. Metal deflector, looks like two different design, and I can't really see. I think there must be, okay, so yeah, there's a hood ornament on the truck, and you can see the metal deflector. It's like it has a cutout for that. Maybe, I don't know, you see it when you're inside or something. So that's what you got there. Tires, we're going to skip that because it's all the same. Rims, I mean, you pretty much got all the same kind of rim choices and things like that. So if we look at your air filter, you can go with lots of different design. This one here, I guess, okay, that's going to be, what, chrome or something exclusive? No, that's like all chrome. So you just got like some different variations between, you know, chrome and then paint and chrome. And then there's some different variations with lights and stuff like that on them as well. So you can kind of pick out your favorite design there. The visors, paint, chrome sun shield, and you've got a couple of visors there. Not too bad looking. That's the license plate we don't care about. You got different mirror options here. Wow, those look pretty nice. If you're kind of going for that old school look, you can probably choose some of those. With the horn, you can put on a horn adapter. And it looks like we've got a couple different horns, like the roar, the big roar, and the super roar. You can put some different horns on the top if you wanted to. And, oh, and then we've got the light adapter as well, and there's a few different lights to choose from. Let's see the difference here. We'll pick one of each. I know that's completely weird looking, but this is just for the sake of seeing them. There you go. Now you can see the lights a little better. I think, okay, you got one there. There's a different one, and then you've got the kind of big fatty fats there. So that's the light choices, it looks like. It looks like with your door handles, it affects those over there as well. You've got the with chrome and just another one. Okay, so that one's looks like maybe some black, and then you've got the all chrome. If we jump to the exhaust, which is one of my favorite things, you've got the plain stacks, which, I mean, all these look super awesome. You've got the standard and then the exclusive. Again, I don't know how you could choose a bad one. Even the plain, there's something to be said about just plain straight pipes, especially on a day cab. I think these look great with a day cab. So all the exhausts look like a big win. Up here on the top, you can do this roof deflector. I would have to pass on that. It just looks weird. Looks like you got a big hairdo. I am not a big, I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad about it in case if somebody here actually drives one of these in real life and has that. I don't want to, you know, all these look beautiful, but I'm not a big fan. I would probably go for something like that, But to be quite honest, there's something about this truck that I love just not having anything on it. And you'll see my version that I've envisioned, and if you like it, great. If you don't, hey, that's the cool thing about this is we can all have some different looking trucks. So now we're going to jump down to the basic side skirts. We'll go back over here to this side, not that it matters. You've got basic side skirt, chrome, basic side skirt. Look at all the different things. You almost got to flip through so you can have a couple different options there. I don't know why you'd probably go for one of these, but you know, when you're starting out like level 2, level 4, that's all you're going to be able to do. Jumping down through some chrome, now you're adding lights and paint, mixing everything up there, all the way down to the chrome exclusive side skirt. So if you really got a thing for chrome, there you go. If you got a thing for chrome and some paint, kind of mixing it up, there you go. And they have one here. Yeah, this is all paint. So lots of different choices, and that's like all chrome, no lights. So I mean, you can definitely do some really neat things there. So then we go on to our mud guards. There's no choices to be had there. And mud flaps, you can basically choose between black and white, depending on what look you're going for. So we won't go through all the wheel stuff right now. Let's jump inside. The last thing I want to show here, yeah, these are all for outside. Now we're going to take a look at these visors just so you can get an idea of how they look. So the standard sun shield looks pretty nice. I do want to point out that on the outside of the truck, these look pretty big, and look at that, they really don't eat into your vision too much. This one does. I think I'd be a little bit annoyed with that, but it's still a lot better than the one on the W900. We've got two choices over there, the one that's up and not quite big enough, and the other one that is way too big, and like you got to kind of duck to look out your windshield. So this is not as bad, but look at these. And again, we'll go back to the outside of the truck again so that you can see, you know, these are all pretty decent in size. I mean, look at how nice that one is, how big. You know, it stands out, and it's like, hey, look at me, I'm cool, right? And if you go inside, it's not really getting into your vision at all. Not too much more than the standard one. So I'm a pretty big fan of that. I really like that. It looks nice to me. With your steering wheel, they have added this a few months ago. We just haven't been in. Holy cow, that one's crazy. I haven't seen that. You've got all your different steering wheels. This is part of the steering wheel pack that they came out with. And so this is not like 389 exclusive or anything like that. This is pretty much going to be for everybody. And if you go all the way down, you will see they should have, yeah, premium. So if you want to match up with your wood grain look there, if you went with the other interior, you could match your steering wheel. So that's jumping back to the 389 exclusive. If you need to, you know, conceal carry, you know, that's American right there. We got our guns right there at hand. Got some flames, got some flight, and mud flap girl. If you like the girls, there you go. Steering knobs, as some people call them. There you go. There's your standard knobbers. And I mean, who doesn't want one of these? So you've got standard blue. These look kind of cheap plasticky. Got the red. Suppose that could look kind of nice if you're trying to match your paint. Carbon. This one I enjoy over in Euro Truck. I've thrown this on my Scania with all that carbon fiber. It looks good. I don't, well, maybe it would look good on the newer trucks, but the chrome and the wood. Again, if you went with that wood dash, you know, the wood wheel or something, you know, that looks very, very nice. So couple of different things to choose from there. I don't think, well then, yeah, the side mirror, I forgot to point that out. We can throw that on. And there's your interior. So not really too much else to point out. I'm going to spare you the pain of me dressing up my truck, which would probably be comparable to watching your wife or girlfriend pick out shoes in a shoe store. I do have this tendency to go back and forth on the look, but I've got this vision for this truck, and I think you all are going to like it. So I'm going to get this truck dressed up. We're going to have it shipped to our Las Vegas garage where we have an opening, and then I'm going to basically travel to our Tucson garage where I want to pick up a load down in Arizona, and we're going to find something to haul. I'm not sure what it is yet, but we'll figure that out here momentarily. Well, there's our beauty. We're going to get this thing all dressed up, and we'll find out what the final price is. Oh my goodness, do I already love what I see. This truck looks amazing. I guess we'll start out in the interior since that's where it's putting us. And I went ahead and purchased it. It costed me $198,000, so it was just under $200,000. And we went with almost all the upgrades, especially the performance stuff, Eaton Fuller 18. you know, the 550 horse engine and the bigger fuel tank, the whole 9 yards. Where I went and decided, well, I didn't really care about the money part of it, but where we went for the option that was cheaper was like the interior. I tried the wood grain and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the brighter seats. I thought this one looked better. But this is my attempt at making a truck look like a fire engine, as a huge shout out to all of our, I don't know, firefighters and first responders, EMTs, whatever, all of our emergency services people that watch our channel and come hang out in our live stream. So this one's for you, all of our police officers, whatever, this is for you. So I tried to make a fire truck theme. When I saw that pinstripe paint job, the first time I passed over, it was like, eh. And then I was like, wait a minute, it's got that gold in it. It'd look amazing with like a fire engine style red. And that's basically what I did. So again, I skipped out on some of the chrome, like on the tank, the air cleaner, and, you know, I guess the skirt going around the bottom by the lights there. I went with the painted option, but I did chrome my mirrors, went for the older style. I went with the chrome mirrors on the front there instead of the paint because they kind of looked weird, and went with the older style front end. And, you know, just a nice bumper on the front there, not a bull bar or anything like that. The exhaust, I try to duplicate kind of what a fire engine would use. And with the wheels, we just kind of kept it simple. A lot of fire engines will use just nice chrome wheels. They won't have a centerpiece, so it'll just be the, you know, the black there. So that definitely looks a heck of a lot like a fire truck to me. Mud flaps, I just left them. I guess you could probably put those to white. They would actually look good, but black also works as well. And again, as far as the handles, those were chrome. And then the sleeper, I went with the low sleeper. I really like the low roof on this thing. And I decided to go with super singles over dual wheels just because, you know, this truck's a little bit older looking now. It's lower. It's just, you know, this isn't going to be my truck that's going to be doing the super heavy hauls. That's what we got the W900 for. So I thought this would be an excellent truck, and I have to be honest with you, without even have started the engine, driving it, any of that, like, this truck is by far my favorite in the looks department. I'm going to have to go back and do something to my W900 because, I don't know, this thing's just got detail. This is beautiful. So we'll climb back in the interior. You could see that I went with the red steering wheel. It actually matches quite perfectly. It had the chrome with the flames, again, the firefighting theme. And then we've also got our chrome on the knob there. So that matches, you know, air cleaner, mirrors, all that. So it looks pretty sharp. I hope y'all like it. I know there's a lot of different designs you can do, and that's the great part about it, is everybody's going to come up with their own. And when we get together on our convoys, we are going to see so many neat looking trucks, and it's great to have a fourth truck on the multiplayer. Let's go ahead and start this thing up. Oh, I like this. Everything's lighting up pretty nice. Got a nice GPS in the dash there. Okay, not quite as manly sounding as the W900, but it's got a little bit of a rumble to it there. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of scoot around the parking lot here. Yeah, we'll start out in a second. I do have my parking brake on. Now I am using, that's the other thing, it's brand new. This is the first time I've got my track IR hooked up in here. We should be full. Let's actually turn on our track IR. It's got us zoomed in here. We can kind of move around. And yeah, we're full as it comes with a full tank, so I can center myself. So this is the first time that I'm going to be using track IR, so I'll try not to be moving it around too much. But I can tell you all, track IR, bought it for flight sim. Wanted it for trucking. It works phenomenal with trucking. It works pretty darn good with flight sim. Doesn't work so good with farming, and I think farming needs to basically implement the support for it. But I love being able to turn my head and look out both sides there. I can turn and look. And this is something that in the W900 you could never see past that pipe. When you looked out, you'd be staring at the pipe, and now you can kind of tilt your head over and look right out. So that is a really nice thing. And, oh, there's a window back there as well. That's kind of nice. So this thing is turned around. We're going to have to find ourselves a load and get this thing on the road, because I'm really eager to go ahead and pull something with it. And I do want to point out, if you're not using track IR, I've got it turned off for a second here. I'm using my mouse. You can see out past your exhaust on this truck, unlike the W900. So if that was something that, you know, was a little difficult for you, maybe you liked it when you backed up to be able to kind of hang your head out, that is with the mouse. So that's what you get to see without track IR or anything like that. So it's got a really, really good view in here. Nothing to complain about there. Alright, if we jump over to our freight market, it looks like when we sort price per distance, we're getting propane coming up at the top here. Going from Tucson to is it San Simon or San Simon? I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but it's not too far away. And it's going to be a good little chance for us to pull some weight too with our truck and see how it drives. Let's go ahead and set that as our GPS destination. Alright, back in the cab, we got everything ready to go. I feel like I'm having to do some sort of a checklist. I've been doing a little bit too much flying lately. This is a truck, so all we got to do is pull out and go the right way. That's definitely going to be important. Oh man. And I do have my traffic turned all the way up to 10. And so we're going to be getting a lot of traffic. We run it, I think default is 3. And like I said, I always run everything as hardcore as we can here. And we are using the SKRS shifter for anybody who is wondering. I've got to get over. Hopefully there's no cars right there. So we're using the 18 speed Eaton here with the SKRS. We also have the Jake brake, the Easy Jake option installed on it. So everything is as realistic as we can get her here. I'll probably roll this stop sign just because I don't see any cars coming. Alright, let's test out the, I want to see what that Jake is like. Oh, it actually sounds pretty good, a little muffled. Oh, here comes a truck. We don't want to cause a wreck here. Alright. It's really nice having track IR when you're using a shifter, especially the SKRS, and you've got a lot more you're doing with your hand. You don't have to be on the mouse anymore, so... Man, I am telling you what, I am loving the way this truck looks. Not as crazy on the sound compared to like the W900, but the Jake sounds pretty decent. I'd say it's the second best. And we got a green light. Whoopsie daisies. As far as the acceleration, you know, sounds and all that, I definitely have to give it to the W900. Let's get a little bit of a Jake again here. Ah, it's got a nice little rumble there at the very low RPM. We're kind of driving like crazy guy here. For all you super realists that like to get on me about my engine revs and stuff, do remember this is just a game. We do rev a little bit high sometimes. Sometimes I rev too low. I've had people yell at me for both. You're not revving high enough, you're revving too high. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into the freight market so we can accept this job. It just feels so crazy to be back in here. It's been so long. Alright, so we got our job right ahead here. It looks like it might be over... Is it back over here? Yeah, I think... Okay, I can see it now. See it out there. Make sure we don't run into the wall here. I've done that before. Try not to move around. So I'm still getting used to the whole track IR and maybe be making a few settings changes there. We just went back to mouse here because I was wondering here, I want to test this out too. Yeah, okay, everything is working just fine here. Alright, let's swing back. Backing up, I still like to use my mouse since you're not really switching gears and stuff like that. You can actually see out the back window. That's kind of nice. I've got all my settings on realistic and, you know, as hard as you can, so we've got to make sure to get that pin in the right place here when we back up. I'm rusty though. I'm a rusty trucker. It's been, gosh, it's been so long. But I'm going to be getting back into her. I'm going to try not to cheat and use that back window. Should be good right there. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and hit T and crank her up. Haven't forgotten that yet. Let's get one nice little outside look. Man, that is a beautiful truck. Wow. Oh, and I haven't tested out the horns yet. We've got our regular horn. What button is it here? Oh, not that one. Let's turn that off. Okay, so the horn is pretty sad. Let's test out the air horn. Oh my god, grab a towel. Jeez, listen to that. Got two different horns on there. I might take one of them off or something like that. But for now, that's what we're running. And we also need to make sure to get our lights on. We forgot to look at that earlier too. Look at those lights on that thing. That looks beautiful. Really like that. And there's our headlights, brights and dims. We'll just go with dims for today. I always like to run with my lights on. That way if it starts raining, I don't have to get tickets and all that. We get a little outside action. And it doesn't sound as good as a W900. I hear the turbo a little bit. Let's jake a little bit here. A little muffled sounding. Whoop. Got some bumps coming. It feels absolutely amazing to be back in here. I'm just loving every moment of it. Sorry if I keep repeating that. I miss this game so much. I miss trucking. And people have asked me in the Twitch live streams, like, oh, are you tired of it? Oh, heck no. I don't let myself get burned out of things like this. If I would have still played it, if I would have kept on it like I was, you know, all through the summer, I probably would be burned out by now. Only because the map is really not quite big enough for my taste. That's why I enjoy Euro Truck so much still. But we are going to be doing that as well, but we're waiting. I'm waiting for this rescale map. I keep saying rescale, but rescale of the map to come out. Oh boy. I'm gonna wait for this guy. You know what? I'm gonna do something else crazy here. Yeah, I think, okay, all the lights are good. I want to go through and adjust, because this is the first time in my truck, I want to adjust where I'm looking more down a little bit, because I don't really need to stare at the ceiling of the truck. That definitely is going to help. And I also think I want to make some adjustments. Let's see. Maybe we do want to keep that up. I guess that's in not too bad of a place. I just need to get my head looking down, I think is the problem there. So we're going to go ahead and get that out of the way. Alright, so what's this goofball doing here? I guess I'm going then. Oh my goodness, I'm just about getting goosebumps right now. This is just wonderful to be back in. Oh, we're just letting those revs go crazy. This thing is hammering through the gears. It's pulling really nice. Oh, come on, buddy. Running out of road here. Yeah, and I don't... Okay, well, that's not too bad. Well, see, if I'm using Track IR now, I can look at my gear. I really use that gear a lot because I've gotten to where I don't like having this stuff up on my screen anymore. I like to look at my dash. You know, real life trucking, you're not going to have some weird HUD thing sticking out there, so... it's kind of annoying me, actually, that my wheel is like it is, so we're going to have to maybe bring it up or out or something like that, but I obviously know what gear I am based on where my hand is at, but, you know, sometimes I like to glance down, I like to see a lot of different information there. We'll go ahead and do 7 high. This is really a nice rig here. Love the way it looks. It definitely gets first place in the looks department. The Jake sounds are not too bad. We're not helping our fuel economy, but this is really about a test of the new truck. and we'll try to get it included in some more videos. Like I said, folks, I apologize that we haven't had a lot of videos out. This is only the third driver log since the game came out, but I just knew that there wasn't the content there for me to, you know, I didn't want to turn a bunch out and then you know, burn myself out. And we ran a lot of this game in the, you know, on the convoys and things like that. We did a lot of it on Twitch. We did a lot of multiplayer. And I'm just waiting for the content to roll out so that we can really give this game the love that it deserves and give it the attention that it deserves. And we can start, you know, knocking on a few of the mods and things like that. If you're new to the channel, I have not done anything, you know, cheaty as far as money. You know, we run our company, everything legit, hardcore as you can get it. Looks like we're coming up already. And so it was great that I had the money today to be able to afford, you know, to be able to afford the load here. Or to be able to, but yeah, I was going to say it was great to be able to have the money in the account today to go ahead and buy this truck. We're going to shift down here. Probably end up in 6 low here. There we go. Oh, she goes beautiful. Just beautiful. I'm probably speeding a little bit here. Do a little Jakey Jake. Whoa, we're gonna miss our turn. Holy cow, we're already here. Oh man, yes we are. This is one of those terrible places. Oh man, I almost missed it. Oh, these cars. What are you doing? Oh man, alright, I'm a goof. Yeah, I should have turned in there. Alright, so these cars are just being super rude here and not giving me the room that I need. That was dumb. As soon as I put my backup lights on, they pulled right up on me. And this place here, we're gonna use it as a turnaround. That's what we're gonna do. Listen to that, Jake. It sounds kind of weird, don't it? Go ahead and turn around here. That wasn't so bad. We're definitely not going to pick this truck based on the sound. Obviously the W900 is, you know, got it in that department, but this thing here really, really is wonderful on pretty much everything else. Whoops, and I killed it. What happens when I'm not in my cab? Killed it again. What is really going on here? I'm in 1 high. I mean, I shouldn't be killing it for that. Alright, much better on the traffic side of things. And I think we could probably go right around the building here from the way it looks. I'd certainly love to take this out on a much longer run, which I'm sure I know we'll do, but for today, we'll leave this one kind of short and sweet. That way you guys can get the information that you want, we can get this up to you, and then we'll have to come back and do some more. So let's go ahead and pull this right up underneath here. We gotta go a little bit farther forward. And maybe not. Oh, you know what? I'm a goof. I just realized I've turned all that off. Obviously, that's not realistic to have it dinging at you, so I've got all those things disabled. And I was waiting for the bing, and we didn't get it, but you can see it's green. So I was going to say, good lord, that is like one of the easiest. And of course, we've got all of our parking, everything's set on the most advanced. But we're going to go ahead and unhook it. Let's see if we can catch those jacks going down. Well, we barely got that, but that was an excellent one, which is nice and short. Got her there on time, even though we had to turn around. So there we go. We're up to level 26 now. Of course, that didn't do much for us. I'll probably end up throwing the coast to coast on here one of these times because that's a lot of fun to be able to do the cross country. Can't wait till that's, you know, vanilla built into the game. But that gives you guys the information that you need on the 389. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly encourage you to. If you don't have American Truck yet and you're on the fence about it, get it. It's worth it. I mean, 20 bucks on Steam, you're going to get 4 trucks, there's 3 states, plenty of things to do to get your money's worth out of this game. So I highly encourage you to check it out. And speaking of checking it out, make sure you check us out over on our Twitch channel where we're going to be running the convoys and doing some multiplayer trucking. This coming Saturday, I'm going to try to get a convoy going. We've had some that have been as big as 100 trucks in the GunninGamerz convoy. So join us over there. Come watch us. If you have the game, join us in the game. Make sure you're following us on Twitter so you know exactly when we go live on Twitch. You may also check out our Steam group and our TeamSpeak. And until next time, take care.